Hello again, I'm Ella Sillywood, and welcome back to the Dungeon Master Challenge. It's hard to believe, but we are almost at the end of Stage 2 of the contest. Over the last 5 weeks, our competitors have taken on a host of classic D&D design challenges, which were submitted anonymously and scored by our distinguished panel of judges. Then, once the weekly scoring was complete, we had the hard task of eliminating the competitor with the lowest total. We began this challenge with 10 intrepid Dungeon Masters, and after today, we will be down to just 5. And, of course, if our competitors want to make it through this week, they'll need to impress the judges with last week's challenge. Let's see what the judges had to say.
Hello, DM Challenge finalists and fans. I'm Jennifer Kretschmer, and this week our 6 contestants crafted harrowing hazards. The delectable Something Hangry This Way Comes fused Kukanai's culinary themes with the Feywild's penchant for manifestation, striking down players with hangristorms of spaghetti showers and perilous pang strikes. But I was swept up into the delicately drifting dream globes of the Rampant Dream. The Rampant Dreams are floating brightly colored literal thought, or more specifically, dream bubbles, which can engulf and absorb unprepared characters, trapping them within the dreams of any creature who has slept in the realm. Once a sphere has absorbed a creature, a Rampant Dream floats upward where it risks being perilously popped, sending the enclosed creature plummeting. Within the sphere, a creature experiences the dream contained within. And while there can be perks, like learning secrets about the dreamer or imagining a scenario so delightful that it heals the waking wanderer, it also can turn to a treacherous nightmare. These dreams often come from non-player characters that the PCs may have met, providing hints or history about their backgrounds and motivations, but they can also potentially come from the players themselves. Players within the dream have the possibility of learning to control it, essentially a mechanism for lucid dreaming, which allows them to spin the knowledge within to their advantage. It was fascinating that 2 of our contestants this week floated into the territory of the externalization of characters' deepest desires and fears. Both the Manifesting Fog and the Rampant Dream created ways to trap PCs in realms of their own making. But what took the Rampant Dream above and beyond for me was the way it harnessed the dreams of non-player characters as a mechanism to reveal their secrets, history, or desires, and allow the DM a dynamic resource to drive the story forward. Great job, everyone, and keep the creativity coming, and I will see you all next week.
Hey, everybody. Week 5. The competition is heating up. Got another round of really great submissions from everybody. A lot of them really expanding on the lore of their individual worlds, and some of them were just interesting one-offs. I think we all really enjoyed Something Hangry This Way Comes. It was an interesting take. It was completely new. It was an interesting take on a new natural disaster. It even had some interesting underlying mechanics that were built in there that I thought was pretty neat. I think the thing that jumped out at me most this week was the Trixie Pixies. I love the fact that it kind of was a new and interesting take on a wild magic mechanic where you could just sort of insert some new interesting things into your game. Some of them were good, some of them were bad. It's a problem that could be solved by diplomacy. It could be solved by force. Definitely the kind of thing I could see using at my table.
Hello, fans and competitors. Amanda Hammond from the D&D studio here, and I've temporarily escaped my wizardly tower to a warm and tropical locale. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring my copper wire with me, so no sending spells. So I'm communicating with you the old-fashioned way, a carrier pseudo-dragon, of course. This week, our competitors put their most creative and most dastardly hazards in front of us. There were a lot of interesting entries, but I really enjoyed the Manifesting Fog. This hazard is a literal fog cloud with some deeply wondrous magical properties. Made up of wishing energy, the cloud creates illusory visions and the sensations of the desires and fears of the creatures inside the fog. One creature might see the long-lost sibling they deeply wish to find, while another creature might see a mound of treasure or the shiny magic item they seek. As a DM, I would love to play with PC's desires and fears this way. Overall, I felt like this hazard could be used as a broad plot device as well as a narrative way to move the game forward. Manifesting a PC's desires could lead to the party embarking upon an entirely new leg of a quest. For me, that makes this one a winner.
Well, week 5 is done and dusted. The scores are in, and unfortunately, one of our competitors will be leaving the party. This week, we're saying goodbye to Asif Nichols. For our 5 remaining competitors, however, the stakes are getting much, much higher. Next week, we'll need to determine our top 3, who'll be moving on to stage 3, the final. That means that next week will be a double elimination. So, with that in mind, competitors, this week's challenge is a big one. That most famous of dungeon threats, always lurking in the shadows or around the next turn. A Feywild monster. Dungeon Masters, it is time to roll for initiative. You have 72 hours. Good luck.